Welcome to the Unpopped Review, movie reviews for movie lover and not a movie critic. Today I'm going to be talking about what's next for Universal's Dark Universe now that The Mummy has officially been released. With The Mummy now released, critics and audiences alike are saying meh to Universal's Dark Universe. And that showed as well in the box office, with it only taking $32 million domestically, but luckily foreign audiences stepped up, helping it rake in $142 million, making the total box office gross $174 million on a budget of $125. While this box office result doesn't necessarily kill Universal's chances at building its Dark Universe, but it does definitely put a hamper on it and makes the universe step back and think, how should we take this new direction? So with that, let's go ahead and dig in with what I think is going to happen in Universal's Dark Universe. As always, I'm going to throw up this spoiler warning. I'll be talking specifically about some of the key points and especially the climax of the movie. So if you are at all interested in The Mummy and intend to go see it, please stop this review now and come back after you have seen it. Now, Universal since the 20s has been making its monster movies, and it plans to bring them all back into one shared cinematic universe. I'm just going to go ahead and run down real quick some of the movies that they have planned. Now, keep in mind, all of these but one have official dates, so the order may switch around a bit, but this is generally what's going to happen in Universal's Dark Universe. Coming next in February of 2019, we have The Bride of Frankenstein, with the fantastic Javier Bardem playing Frankenstein's monster. Other movies on the list are Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, who is said to be played by Johnny Depp himself. Then we have Van Helsing, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula, Phantom of the Opera, and Hunchback of Notre Dame. So these are the movies that Universal plans to release in the future, but what do we know based off the little that was shown from The Mummy? What do we know about this universe? What do we think is going to come next? Well, we know that the entire universe hinges on a secret society called Prodigium, run by Russell Crowe's character Dr. Jekyll. Yes, that Dr. Jekyll. Now, Prodigium is a secret society that intends to keep monsters at bay. Now, in their collection of artifacts, they have many different things, like the hand of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and even the fanged skull of a vampire. Now, as I said, what they plan to do is keep the monsters in the world at bay, so society can go about without anyone else knowing they exist. Think of it kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. from the Marvel Universe or Men in Black. Now, we also know that Tom Cruise's character Nick Moran is now potentially evil. He is an evil ancient Egyptian spirit living within him. And so he has run off on his own to find a cure. So that's it. That is essentially everything that we know about this Dark Universe. That is everything that is in the movie, and that is everything that shows connections to a potential larger universe. So the only thing we can go on is what we know from The Mummy and previous incarnations of these movies. So first I want to begin with what I don't want to happen. I repeat, I do not want Prodigium to be the driving force of these movies. I do not want them to show up at the end of the movie and solve all the problems. I don't want to follow around agents of Prodigium as they are going on looking for artifacts and looking for monsters. I think they should be a through line connecting the series, but that is it. I do not want them to do anything else. Next, I don't want these movies to be purely based on action. The Mummy is definitely an action movie, and while I did enjoy it in parts, I don't think it should hinge on that genre. So that's everything that I do not want to happen in these movies. So now let's talk about what I think and hope is going to happen in these Dark Universe movies. Now, each movie is going to be its own separate identity. Each movie is going to focus on a character, maybe an archaeologist, a scientist, an explorer, something like that, and they are going to encounter the titular monster. And there's of course going to be some action, some scrambling, some horror, things like that, as they try to overcome what this monster brings. And then at the end, I would like Prodigium to arrive and collect the remains of the monster or collect the artifacts, and that is going to be essentially all they do in those movies. But lastly, I think the most important thing for these movies to be a success are to go back to their horror roots. When you look back at these original movies like The Mummy or like Hunchback of Notre Dame or Dracula or Frankenstein, these movies were primarily horror films. And while if you go back and look at them today, no, they are definitely not scary to us looking back, but they were scary at the time. So for these future movies to really understand and capture the essence of what made these movies great is they need to understand that horror element. Now, I know I really didn't go that deeply in what I hope is going to happen in the Dark Universe, but there was really nothing to go on. All I can really talk about is Prodigium and what I think is going to happen overall in the feel of the movies. And so that's all I could really talk about. But at least that's what I think is going to happen in the Dark Universe. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to follow me on movieblogger.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and my comedy podcast in air quotes. And remember to always keep it unpopped.